What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and CreateSpace. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link that also asked me to put it up, so I'll put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. This video though, this video is entitled Are You Finding Yourself or Procrastinating? Ode to BGS. Kendra gonna kill this one too, cause I saw the same thing she did. She was on the panel. you know, we live in a society where a lot of adults saying they're trying to find themselves, and I still don't understand it. And I think people are lying because they're not trying to find themselves; they're just trying to play hooky from life and responsibilities and achieving quote unquote goals. I remember when I was younger, they would say, quote unquote rich kids or kids from, families that can afford it would let their kids go travel somewhat during their college years to find themselves. And I never understood that. Like, but I at first, but what I understand now is you have to go out into the world and have some experiences to know who you are away from your family and in different environments and even under pressure. It's not about that's how you quote unquote find yourself. But the issue is a lot of people can do that at home. You just have to be open to the process of putting yourself out there. This is sometimes sports would do that. When people join like what is that band or not band but acting and whatnot, and you have to perform in front of people and you can find yourself because you're able to face the adversity of stage fright and you know what you're made of. If you mess up, can you improvise? Can you handle the pressure? Can you live up to it? Can you exceed expectations? Can you thrive? And when I look at people nowadays, I don't think people are finding themselves, because I think what people keep doing is finding a new persona to add to the mix. So you're really procrastinating because you're not finding yourself. You just, okay, this is what I am this year, and this is what I am next year. Like back in the day, we used to have those the scrapbooks, and family, we used to make fun of each other because people would go through phases, and you'll see them with all doing all the trends. One year you have a Jerry curl, a couple years later you got the high top fade or the Gumby. You dress completely different. You're acting completely different, and to the point where when people got in their 20s, you didn't want to look at the scrapbook because you realized you were just all over the place. But by then you knew who you were because you went through all of these phases trying to fit in and go with all the trends. You realized you couldn't be trendy your whole life. You had to be you. The times do change, but you have to be true to yourself, and, to thine own self be true, that old phrase. And a lot of times, I don't think you can find yourself if you're not true to yourself. When I think people are procrastinating because they don't want to deal with who they truly are, or they're afraid because when you put something off for so long, the fear of the unknown, or the fear that you might not actually be who you envisioned yourself to be in your own mind, bothers some people. It scares people to death, that maybe I'm not made of what I think I'm made of, but I'm gonna find myself. And the reason I think it's procrastination is because there is no adversity nowadays when people are finding themselves. There is no journey. The journey isn't to actually do something to find yourself. There's not like a rite of passage, and people are adults, so they should know, okay, I should put myself, let me try this situation and see where it goes. There's an aversion to adversity, so you really just want to go on vacation. You really just want to go chilling. You really just want to go, pass away time doing fun, frivolous stuff. But how can you find yourself in frivolousness? I want to find myself in nothingness. And it's like, that's not finding yourself. which is problematic to me. It's problematic to me when I think about it, is because when you have to find it, like people are trying to find themselves at multiple different times. Like when people say, okay, this person had a midlife crisis, right? Well, you understand it was a midlife crisis because they found themselves at a certain point and they had a certain identity for maybe decades. And now they're past the point of being, all of their job is done. You know, they may be married and have a family, and now the kids are grown, and now they don't have to be a husband or wife or mom or dad or protector, provider or nurturer anymore. So now they knew who they were prior to that, but that was their role for so long. Now they got to find out who they are outside of that role, because now they're retired from that role. The things that they sacrificed of themselves, now they got to see if that's still relevant to them. But we're not dealing with that. We're dealing with people who in some ways have been impulsive their whole lives. So now they're too old to be impulsive and be taken seriously. So how can I be me and still be a kid at the same time? There's no plan involved. So I don't think people are finding themselves. Are you finding yourself? Are you procrastinating? Is this a spiritual journey? Because I don't think so. I mean, it might be cold when I say that, but I'm not a person who's going to be sitting here. The way I look at spirituality is you're supposed to treat people in a certain way. It's supposed to be a pleasure to be around. Am I good at that all the time? No. But you're supposed to do things for people that God would do for you, or God would want you to do for other people, right? And sometimes you might have to pay the cost for that. That's just that's part of doing business. But when people are on a spiritual journey, when you finish your journey, are you good to people now? Did it make you a better person internally? So now you're good, better to the people around you. And I don't see that. When you're on a journey to achieve a goal, is achieving a goal doing something for you and it makes it bigger than you, and you want other people to achieve theirs also? I don't see that. All of this finding yourself is so self-centered and self-serving that there's no self-actualization. So what good are you to find yourself if you're no use to the society? You mean you've found who you are, but you have no purpose into leveraging yourself to make other people's lives better. Since you found this self-awareness, you can't lead people to it. You can't help people with it. And then when people are finding themselves, like I said, it's stalling. It looks like a stalling tactic. I don't know what I want to do, but I don't want to do this. So I'm gonna find myself. And the reason why I say I think it's procrastination, because it don't have a date on it. Like there isn't a point where a person says, okay, I've been finding myself for too doggone long. It's been 5 years and I ain't found myself. And all you need is a cell phone and location. That's you. But all of these things coming around bothersome to me. They're bothersome. Just because you change your outfit don't mean you change yourself. It's inside out. So to find yourself, you have to reflect and see who you are internally. And if you don't want to address who you are internally, you can't evolve. And the thing about finding yourself is when you find yourself, you do evolve from that. You look at yourself holistically, good and the bad. And a lot of times we don't want to actually look at ourselves. We want to see the best in ourselves, and that's it. And we don't want to see the worst in ourselves. You got to see the worst in yourself to find yourself so you can improve that. You got to be, you got to take control of your own self to the extent of, You have to control your inner darkness and be aware of it, and be aware when it comes out to other people, and be aware that you didn't mean to do that, because you're actually changing, because you know who you are. You got to be aware of your inner good Samaritan, your inner angel. You got to be aware of that. But I don't think people are even searching for that. They're just searching for some time to get away. And what are you running from? Because everywhere you go, that's where you are. So it's never the people you're running from, because you can go to different place, but it's still you. And if you still trying to find yourself in different places, you're really running from yourself. And you're no good to yourself or anybody else. Because the first thing to find yourself is you need to stop running. But that's just my thoughts on it. How I look at it. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.